Ladies and gentlemen, here at the fabulous Nottingham Ice Rink on the Big Fight Live on ITV Sport, Hennessy Promotions proudly present first of tonight's main events, a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the light welterweight championship of Europe. Between and introducing the boxers, and firstly the challenger fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the blue trunks trimmed with gold and comes from Ukraine. He weighed in at 9 stone, 13.5 pounds, and comes to the ring with a 25-fight professional record, 24 wins, 11 wins by knockout with just 1 loss. He's ranked by the WBA as number 5 in the world and is a former Olympic silver medalist. Please welcome from the Ukraine, the challenger for the title, Andriy Kotelnik. And across the ring, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, wearing the silver trunks trimmed with white. He weighed in at 9 stone, 13.5 pounds, and brings to the ring a 34-fight professional record. 31 wins and 19 wins by way of knockout with 1 loss and 2 draws. He comes to the ring as the British and Commonwealth and European light welterweight champion, tonight making the 2nd defense of his European crown. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Bradford's Junior, the Hitter Witter. The referee, Mr. Robin Dolpierre, will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
So the joint main event of the evening, the Junior Witter making the 2nd event of the European light welterweight title here, looking resplendent in those
3-minute rounds for the light welterweight championship of Europe.
Duke McKenzie. Referee Robin Dolpierre of France will take charge of this contest. Now, there's some interesting news here about Andriy Kotelnik. He failed the weight on 3 occasions. He was 1.5 pounds over at the first attempt and had to make it 3 times before he actually got there.
Well, that won't really help him against somebody that's hits as hard as what Witter does. Witter's looks exceptional, I think, in certainly his last 3 fights for me.
Worth reminding you that, of course, Kotelnik did pick up a silver medal in the Olympic Games in 2000, representing the Ukraine, before, of course, he moved to Germany, and he lost to Mario Kindelan in the final. And he fought Kindelan 4 times, won one of them, lost the other 3. So, obviously, a world-class amateur, Duke.
Yeah, he's a world-class amateur, but I keep banging on about Witter. You know, the guy's got great reflexes, and he seems to be punching harder now than he's ever done.
Well, I can't argue with that, and when I was asked earlier how long this would go, I said, well, I think it's unlikely to last into the 5th round, to be honest with you. As soon as Kotelnik starts to feel the weight of Witter's punches, I think he's going to start feeling that this was probably a mistake.
Well, they don't really call him the hitter for nothing. The guy can obviously punch at this weight division. What's more important is that he's so full of confidence right now. Not overconfident, but just, you know, brimming with it. He's very, very patient, is Witter. You know, he's got good reflexes, as I've already said. He switches from southpaw to the orthodox stance with effortless ease.
I think, though, taking a look at Kotelnik here in this opening session, doesn't want to try everything in the locker too soon, does he?
No. The good thing about Witter is 9 times out of 10 he doesn't know what he's going to do, so it's just reaction, spontaneous.
Yes, that's a very good point, but not a great deal between them in this opening session. It is a 12-rounder, of course. For a major championship, still these days, of course, the European.
Both boxers just using this round as a sparring session, just looking for openings.
So, of course, in this first 3 minutes, both men will be working out how best to exploit the weaknesses of the other. And, well, I've got to say, pretty decent left jab here from Kotelnik to start with, Duke.
Yeah, you know, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to keep the centre of the ring and make Witter do all the running.
Only takes 1 punch, doesn't it?
It certainly does. But this boy Witter's got every every punch in the book. Look, switched effortless to the southpaw stance.
Got to say, there's never been much between them in this opening session, and it's so often the case, of course, in championship contests. Both lads do a nice left hand there from Witter to end this first session. Big reddening mark there on the forehead.
What I like about Witter more recently is just he doesn't rely on the single punch. He puts nice little combinations together.
So round two coming up then. The first round was a bit cat and mouse-ish, with neither man really getting the edge, but we both think, that Junior just about nicked the first round.
I think so. You know, he's the champion. The other guy never really looked too busy doing too much, so I'd be inclined just to stick my neck out. Witter's first round.
Okay, and don't forget that Kotelnik finished with quite a red mark on his forehead from a little left hook there again for Witter. Yes, he switched to southpaw for a second, then he banged in a left cross and left a red mark on the forehead of the German challenger. German stroke Ukrainian, of course. And I have a feeling that the pace will increase in this round, Duke.
I think so. You know, Witter's, again, he just likes to just spar for an opening. But when he sees it, he's like a cobra, just strikes.
For the record, by the way, at the moment, 31 wins for Junior Witter. Very good recent form, by the way. 19 knockouts, 1 defeat, and 2 draws in 34 outings. And for Kotelnik, he's won 24, lost just 1. And that was to the very smooth, slick Frenchman Suleiman Mbaye.
See, Witter's just standing in front of his opponent. Not really taunting him, but he's not doing too much movement. He's just allowing him to lead off where he can counter punch.
Well, half a decent right there for Kotelnik a moment ago.
Kotelnik's got a nice high guard. He really has. He's nice and compact.
Yes, he's a useful boxer, Andriy Kotelnik. And don't forget, you know, Duke, he's been there and done it. Got the T-shirt. You know, he's been a top-class, world-class amateur for some years. And of course, only 1 defeat so far in 25 outings as a professional. You know, he's in good form, isn't he?
Oh, sure. He'll have plenty to bring to the table. But you know, I've got to emphasise the point. If he beats Witter tonight, should he be so lucky, it would be a major shock.
Yes, indeed. Junior Witter, of course, on the verge of a world title fight. Arguably, of course, and I say arguably, one of the best light welterweights in the country. And the fight people have been really out for it is against Ricky Hatton.
They certainly are. I mean, what a tremendous fight that would be. But you know, if I was Witter's camp, I'd be more inclined to try and get him one of the other versions of the championship. Then that Hatton fight makes it more attractive.
Yes, I agree. So Junior's using a slightly greater bit of variety in this second session, and as a result, I think Kotelnik hasn't changed a great deal at the moment. He'll probably go down in this one as well. Sweeping left hook there from Witter. Took a short one back though for Kotelnik.
Well, Kotelnik's not going to find Witter out with just single punches. You know, he's being out jabs, and Witter introduces the right hand every now and again. So Kotelnik's got to start stepping on the gas a little bit. If he wants to look for some success and get it, he's got to put some combinations together.
settle there.
Don't let him settle. Listen to him. Don't let him settle.
Go southpaw. Just working southpaw.
So round 3 coming up then of this scheduled 12 rounder for the European Light Welterweight Championship. The 31-year-old Junior Witter looks like he may have won the first couple of rounds here against his challenger, Andriy Kotelnik, 27 years of age, based in Hamburg, but from the Ukraine originally. So round 3 it is, and Witter starts with his right hand forward in the southpaw stance. Duke?
Well, how do you make this guy out? You know, he starts with a southpaw stance and he switches back to the lefty, and he does it really, really well. So, you know, Kotelnik's got to start to up the pace if he can. But every time he gets a tactic and he tries to adopt it, Witter switches back again. So it's going to take a real lot of thought.
It's a terribly difficult fight, this one, for Kotelnik, and it's a terribly difficult fight also for his connections, because they've had to come to Britain. For once in their lives, you know, a German is contesting a title on foreign soil, and they're not used to that. And, you know, he's up against it here as well, against one of the leading light welterweights in the world.
Yeah, that just doesn't happen too often. So, but it's nice to think that, you know, times have changed. There was a time where British fighters had to go to Italy and fight for European titles day in, day out, because, you know, the promoters just couldn't win the purse bid. So, but it's all changed now, where it's got the advantage of home backing.
Yes, indeed, and Witter there got through with 2, 3, 4 good punches. Brought a wry smile from the face of Kotelnik.
It's Witter's turn now to try and hold the centre of the ring and back Kotelnik up. Just pouring with that southpaw lead. Just trying to sucker him into that straight left. It's a hurtful punch when Witter delivers it.
Well, a right hand there from Andriy Kotelnik. It's the only punch I think he's landed in this round so far. Well, it's still very much a cat and mouse battle here, Duke, isn't it? Neither man has really asserted themselves. The best round so far, the fight so far for Junior Witter, without a doubt. But Kotelnik, still, there's something about him, isn't there? He's got this stoical kind of attitude.
Yeah, he's, you know, he isn't really doing too much, and he's letting these early rounds slip away. And you can't afford to give rounds away to Junior Witter, you really can't.
Little right hand, left hook there, just missed from Kotelnik. So getting a slightly more ambitious here now in round 3. And of course knows he has to. As Duke just commented, you can't let rounds slip away against Junior Witter. But commanding boxing this, I think, from the champion. And again, he's also the British and the Commonwealth champion too. The only thing he lacks is a world championship. Nice right there from Kotelnik. One to the chest. Good round though for Witter.
Back with your feet, don't lean over to your feet. Lean back with your knees and edging back with your feet. Listen to me. Edging back with your feet, pressing your feet, walking back, and then start throwing your shots. Don't throw your shots and walking back. Right? Use your footwork to edge back into the ground.
So round 4 coming up then, just checking our scorecard. No dissent here at all between Duke McKenzie and myself. We've got Junior Witter winning the first 3 rounds. I don't think there's too much doubt about that, Duke, is there?
None whatsoever, not in my book. Kotelnik just not doing enough, and just allow Witter to fight at his pace and just nick the points, put him in the bin.
What would you like to see Witter do from this point?
Well, he's pouring with the jab. I'd like to see him use that as a more dominant force. Really try and, you know, get it home. Use it as a ramrod jab because he has a very good jab when he uses it. But but he's got a good variety of punches also, so he's finding it hard to penetrate the guard of Kotelnik, so, you know, maybe start the body attacks.
But Kotelnik, of course, is not a mandatory contender for no reason whatsoever. I mean, he's there on merit, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, Witter's just being a little bit cautious. But I think once he penetrates that guard...
Well, there was a couple of jabs there a moment ago for Kotelnik, but all of a sudden a change of pace here and a change of direction from Witter as he aims for the body with a hook.
Well, he's an intelligent thinking fighter, but, you know, he knows that he's not having too much success to the head, so he's, you know, he'll go downstairs and try and break this guy's guard right down, and he'll come back with the counter punches over the top.
Well, nice left hand there again for Kotelnik as Robin Dolpiero, referee for the first time in the fight, walks in, separates them and says, watch your heads, lads.
It's not a hard-paced fight at all. Witter's just been able to fight this pretty much as he wants to.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I was there in Scotland and I fought Zab Judah, of course, back in 2000, and I actually thought he'd done very well with 10 rounds gone and lost the fight at the last 3. Maybe that was a confidence factor, Duke.
Well, his confidence has gone sky high since then. He's had a string of knockouts. I think maybe 15 or 16 knockouts since that fight against, you know, some very good opposition. You know, he's not European, British and Commonwealth champion for nothing. He's on the verge of a world title fight now, and he's not going to want to let that slip.
Nice look right there for Kotelnik to the chin. And one of the first bits of cheering from the German corner.
Well, Kotelnik, he's not winning these rounds because single punches don't win you around.
Well, this will be another round in the bag for Witter, known as the hitter, but not much sign of that at the moment. Well, Kotelnik, they're getting a bit closer, a bit more ambitious again. Slightly better round for Kotelnik, but another one, I think, in the bag here for Junior Witter. So into round 5 we go then, and this is the round, in fact, Duke, where I actually fancied Witter to get rid of Kotelnik.
Well, I also had that impression, but he's just finding it a little bit hard to penetrate that guard. But, you know, you can't write this guy off because he does carry his power.
So 3 minutes then of round 5 to go, and Kotelnik got slightly more ambitious in round 4. He's got a bit of blood around the left-hand side of his forehead. There's a cut, I think, on the left eye. And there's your scorecard. Duke McKenzie's unofficial scorecard, of course. This will go to 3 judges. He's got every round so far in favour of Junior Witter, and rightly so. So a cut then on the left eye. There's not been a clash of heads to talk of, Duke, has there? Despite the referee once breaking him up and saying, watch your heads, lads, it may well have been a punch.
Yeah, there's been no sort of infringement by Witter with the head at all. He hasn't been that close. He's done that with just legitimate punching.
Of course, sometimes the sight of blood can really spur a fighter on.
But it's not done that to Kotelnik. He's just very, very, you know, very, very patient, very, very dogged in what he's doing. You know, he's not trying to force the fight too much. He's just content just to hold centre of the ring and just try and pot shot a little bit.
Well, I've seen enough of Kotelnik over the years to know that he's a pretty decent fighter. But, you know, it's just interesting the way that Witter controls the pace and the distance between both fighters, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's quite a lovely uppercut by Witter, lovely right uppercut by Witter.
That was a cracking shot there. Took a right hand back though, Kotelnik.
Just intelligent thinking by Witter. You know, he's more content at this present moment in time, and he's not gone looking for the knockout. He's just picking his punches at will.
And very defensively adept too.
So Witter doesn't waste any energy either. He won't throw a punch unless he thinks it's going to land. And if you look at his footwork, he's very, very economical.
Yes, indeed. And as you just said there, you know, a momentary little spin, and all of a sudden he's gone from orthodox to southpaw and back again in the blink of an eye. But Kotelnik's still sticking to it. You know, he's maintained his guard, he's maintained his balance. He hasn't panicked, and he's actually got through some pretty good-looking shots at times.
Just not enough for my liking. You know, he's just 2-1 paced. You're not going to beat Junior Witter with single punches. You've got to close him down if you can, and let go combinations, take the man right out of his stride.
Well, nice right there again for Kotelnik. Credit where it's due. He's not done badly, Kotelnik. Getting better as this one goes on, but another round, I suspect, here for Junior Witter. So I've got to say, Duke, no problem. So something urgent required here by the challenger, Andriy Kotelnik. He's 5 points behind. We've got, you know, we're coming to the 6th round now, and he's running out of time, Duke.
He certainly is, but you know, one punch changes the fight. You know, he's got to stay at this one because, you know, it's 12 rounds obviously, and not 6 or 3. So he's just got to be dogged in what he's doing and not give up, obviously.
I just cannot see any way that Kotelnik can really affect this contest. You know, he's at the mercy really of what Witter wants to do, isn't he?
Well, he's just not doing enough, Kotelnik. He's just standing in front of Witter, and he's not really posing too many problems. Sure, he takes a chance every now and again and throws little 1-2s, but that's just not enough. So he's allowing Witter to switch at will. He's allowing Witter to hit him at will, but Witter just needs to concentrate and try and penetrate that guard where he can get a clean shot in.
Absolutely. Witter, of course, from Bradford, trains with the Ingles in the Winkerback gym in Sheffield, and it shows.
You know, Witter won't be too concerned if he doesn't knock this guy out. You know, he's just been 12 rounds, which will set him up for this one, obviously, and you know, there's just no substitute, obviously, when you do that kind of a distance.
Absolutely right. Well, Kotelnik there getting forward, and does actually engage Witter in something of a confrontation on the inside, but not for long. Oh, all right cross there from Kotelnik.
There's been a slight change in the pattern for this fight now. Witter's decided to actually back off and just allow Kotelnik to push him back.
Well, there'll be no panic here in Witter because he's got this wonderful way of moving back out of trouble and then picking it up again, hasn't he?
He certainly has. But what Kotelnik seems to forget is that he's not in Germany fighting this fight, so, you know, he's not going to get done any favours.
Of course, if this was in Germany, he'd be winning by 5 rounds, wouldn't he?
There you go.
We're only joking, of course. Well, it's been a fairly mute round, this, from Witter, and as a result, of course, Kotelnik has come on a wee bit, Duke.
Yeah, he's still not winning this round. Sure, he's advancing okay, but he's not winning the round. Witter's just leading him a little bit of a song and dance.
Yes, I think Junior making a difference where it matters. And that's another problem here for Kotelnik. You know, charging after he's trying to grab water, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not going to hit Witter with one shot. You know, you'd have more chance of hitting him with a bag of rice.
That's once again a nice sneak right there from Kotelnik.
Witter's just allowing Kotelnik to come forward. He's giving him the confidence that he needs to pressure him.
Well, it's gone further than 5 rounds. Well, I've got to say, at the end of, at the end of 6 rounds of boxing now, you've gone against me. You've gone for Kotelnik there, and I can fully understand why. I'm going to stick with Witter, but I can understand why you've done that. Because, you know, he gave the impression, didn't he, that Kotelnik was doing quite well.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that. He didn't do bad. He probably his best round of all.
Yeah.
But I still thought Witter controlled things, and the distance and the pace.
Yeah, I thought so also, but, you know, he just allowed Kotelnik to push him back, and if the judges are looking for aggression, then what they've just seen a little bit there, and Kotelnik landed 1 or 2 shots.
There we go, that's a right hand there from Kotelnik. Caught Junior Witter in the mouth with that one. And that's a swiping right there from him as well. So Michel Tim, then the trainer of Andriy Kotelnik, like so many successful German fighters, by the way. So here is the halfway point then, round 7 of this scheduled 12-round European light welterweight title fight. The champion, the reigning and defending champion, Junior Witter, resplendent in silver trunks here against his... well, he's a bit of a dark horse, really, Kotelnik, isn't he?
Yeah, Witter allowed him to come back into the fight in this round, in the round previous, I should say. So this round, I would expect Witter to re-stamp his authority and, you know, definitely try and penetrate that guard.
Well, we do think, I think, I speak for you as well, Duke, that Witter could be hitting more firmly.
Certainly, I think he should step in behind his punches now, you know, and really try to shake this guy up a little bit. I mean, without taking a chance. He doesn't take chances where he's a very calculated, very cool boxer.
Well, oh, nice bit of work there for Kotelnik. Finished that exchange off with a lovely left hook.
As I said in the round previous, Witter's allowed Kotelnik some confidence now. So now he really feels that he can push Witter back and get off with some punches like he just did then. I'd like to see Witter really stamp his authority on this round and turn this fight around whereby he hurts this guy.
But it's ironic, you know, that the Junior's missing and falling short with his punches, whereas Kotelnik is throwing far fewer but actually making them count.
Absolutely. That's exactly what he's doing in this round. Witter's throwing more shots, but obviously not landing too many. And Kotelnik's just landing the more telling blows.
Nice left hook again there for Kotelnik. Well, for me, the first genuine round that the challenger is going to win, providing, of course, it stays like this.
Witter's just allowed him just a little bit too much respect and just allowed him to get into this round.
Of course, it could be, Duke, that Junior wants to get inside and have a bit of a row here, so he can use his power.
I'm not so sure, Steve. You know, it's not his style. Witter just doesn't take chances.
You're absolutely right. So a tidy, compact, orthodox style here for Kotelnik. Completely different, of course, to Junior Witter. Lands that left hook again. I think it's the 4th or 5th time in this round that sweeping left hook has got through on target.
He will be saying to himself now, okay, I know this guy takes a reasonably good shot. I know I might have to do a few rounds, so I'm going to pace myself. You know, I'm not going to just go to town on him. And I think that's what he's doing.
Yes, and it would be a disaster if Witter were to lose this. The world would fall apart, wouldn't it?
I don't think he's in any danger of losing it, at least not right now. It would take a knockout from Kotelnik for that to happen.
Well, I've got the gap closed now to 5 points. It's the first round I've actually given to Kotelnik. So a bit of replay here then from the previous round, the 7th. And Kotelnik, they get through with a good left hook. can't argue with that. And I think, let's just have a look at Kotelnik here, how he approaches this attack. The right hand missed, the left hook missed, and that one got through. He just kept on going, didn't he?
I think probably what he said to himself, if he misses him with the first, he's going to get him with the second or possibly the third. So he's starting to punch in bunches, put the combinations together.
Yep, if the left one don't get you, then the right one will, as the song says. And we're coming out now for round 8 of the scheduled 12-round contest. And I'll tell you what, Chick, it's zipped by, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
But we've got a 5-point gap here, at least I have anyway, in favour of Junior Witter. And let's just see how this 8th round develops. There's your scorecard, Duke, 69-65. 4 points for you.
I think Witter's just decided to shake alive a little bit now. He knows maybe he had a couple of rounds off quite deliberately, I'm not so sure, but you know, he realises that he's let this guy back in, and I think he wants to just start, you know, setting down in his punches now, hurt this guy a little bit, try and back him up.
Oh, nice little right there, followed by a half a left hook from Kotelnik. And fighters do take it the odd round off, don't they? Nice left hook again from the challenger.
They do when it's a hard-fought pace, but this isn't a hard-fought pace fight. So whatever reasons he has, Witter, for taking the foot off the gas, that's beyond me.
Well, my prediction of a 5-round finish was absolute nonsense, blown out of the water. But still, there's an awful lot of room here for Kotelnik to have to make up.
Well, I don't see Kotelnik clawing back the points deficit. I think he's too far behind for that, even at this stage.
Well, you've got him 4 behind with 5 to play, so it's possible mathematically. I've got him 5 behind with 5 to play, so it's, you know, the best he can do for me is a draw.
He's not going to outbox Witter for another 4 rounds, though.
Well, any chance he can knock him out, Duke?
Well, he hasn't proven that so far. I mean, he's clipped Witter once or twice, but nothing to suggest that he could knock him down or take him out of his stride.
And there's nothing really on his record to suggest he's that kind of hitter either.
No.
11 wins out of 24 victories inside the limit, and not against named opponents, really.
No, he's not a devastating puncher by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, Junior, they want to watch his head.
The referee seems to be intervening now more often against Witter, you know, for like little infringements, and he's not entirely blameless.
That's true. Another fairly quiet round this for Witter, as Kotelnik just gets industrious and starts building up. Right over the top there again for Kotelnik. Looks like he's done his homework, doesn't it?
He certainly has. See, what he's doing now is letting Witter get off of his punches, and then he starts back his quick combination. Once he's got Witter in sight and in range, high, tight guard, backs him up, there you go, little 1-2, and there's the little combo.
Well, I tell you what, not a bad round this now for Kotelnik, possibly thinking that it'd be a fight of 2 halves. He'd lose the first 6 and possibly win the next 6.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad assessment.
Too late for me, though, I'm afraid, for Kotelnik, as you so rightly say, to make up the deficit in what's left.
But Kotelnik can't afford to take chances and start dropping his hands.
Well, I think he's still won that round, though, Duke. And, well, the gap now getting slightly less here in favour of Junior Witter. 4 points now for me and 3 for you, I believe.
Yep.
So there's Andriy Kotelnik. And Kotelnik once again putting Witter under a bit of pressure here, getting through the punches that matter, Duke, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. So Witter's just, he stepped off the gas too long now in my liking. You know, that, in my opinion, again, it wasn't a very good round for him, that round. Okay, he wasn't in any trouble, but I just feel that he's let Kotelnik just nick the round.
Yes, well, let's see what the Ingle dynasty have to say about that. Well, we've got 4 rounds left to play here. I've got a 4-point gap, you've got a 3-point gap. So it's still possible mathematically for Kotelnik to get something out of this.
I'm not so sure Witter's going to let him. You know, Witter's as I said before, he's very, very cute, and he's not going to let this guy, you know, just come in and walk away with the championship. So I think, for my money, I think Witter can meet him punch for punch anytime he's ready. and get the result.
But of course, Duke, it does depend on the 3 judges we have sitting around the ringside here. Not one Brit in sight, by the way, so there'll be no sympathy here for Junior Witter.
You've got a good point there, you know. But you know, I think Witter's winning the fight quite comfortably. I really do. He hasn't really put a foot wrong on that. Sure, Kotelnik's not making it easy for him, but you know, being European champion, as I've said before, it's like being champion of half the world, and he's got a genuine world rating. You know, the pair of them have. So, you know, this is not only
Beautiful shots there for Kotelnik, and again.
yeah, these are good shots from Kotelnik. This isn't just a European title fight; it's also a world ranking on the line.
Absolutely right. Well, I've got to say here, Kotelnik really showed a great deal of mettle there to stand toe-to-toe with Witter and bang him with some cracking punches.
They were 2 good shots by Kotelnik. Witter needs to inject some real good urgency into his work, find a way through. He hasn't found a way through that guard pretty much all night. Yeah, sure, he's been pot shotting quite well, but just needs to just really stamp his authority on this fight.
Well, I'll tell you something, you know, Duke, if Kotelnik could put a combination together and put Junior on the floor, what a difference that would make, psychologically.
Certainly would. I can't see Witter getting sloppy though.
You don't often see him get hit like this, do you?
Well, you know, this is world-class boxing now. He's gone past the British stage and even the Commonwealth stages into the European. You know, as I said before, there's a world ranking at stake here. These are both world-ranked fighters.
Well, I've got to say, a very, very intelligent approach to boxing here by Kotelnik. Not having a pop by any means at Junior Witter, but as this one's gone on, I think Kotelnik's learned slightly more about it. And again, lands it right over the top there.
Kotelnik getting through a lot more now in this round. It's a good round for him.
Indeed it is. Well, we had him 4 behind coming into this. He'll be 3 behind with 3 to play going out of it. And, you know, he's boxing an intelligent, aware contest, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, like you said before, he's probably seen this fight and said to himself, you know what, I might lose the first early rounds, but after that, I'm going to start clawing my way back into it, so...
Well, I've got a 3-point gap now. So here we are then, a bit of replay from round 9. Oh, lovely right hand there for Kotelnik, smack on the chin. I said to Duke a moment ago, good left hook as well to follow up. If you put him on the floor, what a difference that would make. But I think if punches like that are not going to put him over, he won't go.
Yeah, you know, he's a little bit underrated in terms of having a good chin. You know, people don't think he's got the greatest chin in the world, but you don't take shots like that without being, you know, reasonably solid in that area.
So there's Junior then. Well, as we say, you know, he's got to get his finger at least one of this remaining 3 rounds here. You know, 3 behind, 3 to play for me, and I think 2 behind and 3 to play for you.
Yeah, I can't see him losing these remaining rounds, but Kotelnik is definitely starting to come back into the fight.
Indeed he is, and let's face it, Duke, it's not necessarily about Witter not losing the rounds. You know, I mean, how do you stop Kotelnik winning them?
That's a good point. I mean, Witter got off to a fantastic start, but he's just allowing Kotelnik to get through a little bit too often for my liking. He's got his hands up nice and high now and his chin tucked down again. And he's been clipped once or twice and he doesn't like it.
Well, I tell you something, I've got to say, I am slightly disappointed in the fact that Junior hasn't walked in here with all guns blazing and said, take that, because we know he can hit.
Well, he would have really made a statement if he'd have gone out and blown this guy out of the water tonight on the world scene.
2 left hooks again for Kotelnik.
But this might not be such a bad thing, you know. If Witter doesn't look so good tonight in winning, then, you know, he might force one of the other champions to fight him.
Yes, that's always a ploy, of course. Not necessarily suggesting it is a ploy, but yeah, that could work.
I'm not saying he would have done it intentionally. I think he would have liked to have gone out in one round and blown this guy out of the water, but it hasn't happened. So, you know, he's had to fight for pretty much every round since the 5th. So.
It's absolutely right, Duke, and I've got to say also that, you know, Kotelnik's got a very good eye for a counter punch. You know, he's standing there waiting for something to come and then pushes over the top.
Yeah, Kotelnik hasn't really done anything exceptional. He's just he's waited very, very patiently, and he's just applied dogged pressure on Witter, and just waited for him to make a mistake. And when he's made him miss, he's made him pay.
Very close this 10th round at the moment. Nice left hook there again from Kotelnik. Well, that's the first time in the fight we've actually seen Junior Witter grab hold of his opponent because he took a shot.
I don't think he was hurt. I think that was sort of just more in just a little bit of frustration.
Well, we're getting a bit of a war now in this 10th round towards the finish.
It's Witter looking to tee off now, looking for the bingo punch. Witter's work's got a little bit untidy in this round. He's trying to regroup by keeping his chin down and his hands up. It's just not quite at the races.
I have a feeling that he's quite concerned that the punches from Kotelnik have actually been slightly better than he anticipated, and his punches have made the slightest bit of difference. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to call that one a round for Kotelnik, not because I'm almost inclined to go level, but I'm going to call it Kotelnik's round. So there they are then. There's the Ingles, Brendan and John and whoever else. And a bit of replay here then from the 10th round. Nice jab there again. Good right to the body too. Almost on the hip, in fact. And there's the German corner. That's the challenger. Not that you can see much of him. Well, I'll tell you, he's boxing out of his skin, isn't he, Duke?
Yeah, Kotelnik certainly is. So here we are then. This is the penultimate round, round 11 of the scheduled 12 rounder for the European Light Welterweight Championship. The champion, the reigning and defending champion, of course, Junior Witter. There's your scorecard, Duke. Still possible mathematically, of course, for Kotelnik to pick a draw here. Yeah, he's slowly but surely just starting to close the gap on Witter. I just feel Witter's just allowed him in just a little bit too much.
So this round and one more to go. I've got a 2-point gap as well. And Andriy Kotelnik has really come on a bomb since about just past the halfway point, in fact, which probably makes it quite difficult for him to win this one on points. But as we've said before, there's 3 judges around this ring. The referee won't score. 3 judges around the ring. It didn't used to be like that, of course, and they will pick up the score, not us. And who knows?
Well, you know, scoring's a very subjective thing, and you'd be surprised just to how one person can see a fight completely different from somebody else from a different corner of the ring. But it's actually good that they have got 3 independent judges here tonight.
Of course, in British boxing, that will be introduced in September for important fights. They're normally handled by a single referee, but back to the action here. It's been pulsating at times, this one. Always very, very thoughtful. That's not right up at the top there from Andriy Kotelnik. Well, it's like he's firing on 3 sparks, isn't it? 3 plugs, I should say.
Yes, it certainly is. What we're getting from Witter now, just little bursts every now and again.
Over the course of the round, Kotelnik has kept a steady approach. He's kept plugging away.
Exactly. He's just been very dogged in his approach. He hasn't got flustered at all. He's just had the same approach round after round after round, and he's trying to wear Witter down.
You know what, Duke? No, I'll leave it. This is a decent round for Kotelnik, Duke.
It certainly is a decent round for him. Again, he's applying that same steady pressure, working everything behind the jab, and it's Witter's the one that wants to grab hold when they come in close.
Well, I tell you what, we are entering a fascinating phase in this contest. We're in the last half minute of the 11th round. There's 3 minutes to go after this one has been done. And, you know, we'll only have a single-point gap between them. You know, it's all Witter for the first half of the fight, but all Kotelnik since then. Not generally by the same degree.
Absolutely, you know, Witter won the first half of the fight and almost a canter, but it's been Kotelnik just clawing back the deficit slowly but surely since then.
Well, 105, 104 on my scorecard to this man, Junior Witter. Bit of replay coming up then from the 11th round. Sorry.
Let's get our route on, One more round. You've got to do a full 3 minutes, yeah? You've got to start
My scorecard, and Duke's as well, by the way. And we've got 1 round to play. Junior Witter can, of course, if he loses this last round, retain his title with a draw. On a draw, of course, you don't lose anything. You just come in the same way as you go out the same way as you come in. It's a little bit disappointing, a draw, isn't it? Unless you're the champion.
It would be highly unsatisfactory for Junior Witter because, you know, as I said before, he wants to make a statement tonight and press his claim for the World Championship. I'm sure he would have liked.
Here we go then for the 12th and final round, and quite possibly to decide the destination of the European Light Welterweight Championship. As Duke was just saying, you know, Junior Witter came out here tonight with the intention of making a statement about being on the world stage and belonging on the world stage. Has he done it, Duke?
Well, yeah, as I said before, you know, if he doesn't shine tonight, which I don't think he personally has, you know, the rest of the champions now might say themselves, okay, this might be a safe defence for us. Might play into Witter's hands more.
Yes, indeed. Tactically, of course, it's been nothing special from Kotelnik, but it has been effective.
You can see how he justifies his mandatory rating.
Well, that's a nice left hand from Witter. It's about time, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Good left hook back for Kotelnik.
It's Kotelnik, obviously, who needs to try and engage Witter into an absolute brawl in this fight if he wants to win.
He's got to start throwing punches. And equally, Junior has to do exactly the same thing, you know, for completely different reasons. Well, it's come down to the wire, and I've got to say I didn't expect it to. And neither did you, Duke. But, I mean, are we saying there's something awry here with Junior Witter?
No, I don't think there's anything awry. You know, Kotelnik's just not allowed Witter to fight his normal kind of a fight. You know, we've got so used to seeing Witter just blow guys out of the water. It just hasn't happened for him tonight.
Well, they've got a left hook there, but I think Witter's just about nicking this round at the moment.
Mate, you're right. I think he's just doing enough at the moment. He's, you know, Witter is the one trying to force the pace and, you know, look for the opening. So, there's a nice little combo from Witter.
What's interesting is that you're more likely to get a world title shot if you lose than you win.
Absolutely.
So expect Witter to be overlooked for Kotelnik. If this one stays the way it is, Junior Witter will retain his title with, I think, a 2-point margin. Just about had the better of things in this final session.
It's amazing, really. You know, you just expected Witter to come in and just help himself to quite an emphatic, easy victory, but it's been anything but.
Well, Witter then raises his arms prior to the final bell. There's only a few seconds to go now. And I think Witter's won it. But that was almightily close, far closer than it should have been. Well, a few boos around this crowd. I've got it 115, 113. And the crowd are not, and most of the crowd here are not enjoying Witter proclaiming victory.
Well, you know, they've got so used to him winning and they expected fireworks. He didn't deliver.
Well, a terrific effort there from Kotelnik, but here is the, well, we think anyway, still the European light welterweight champion, Junior Witter. And I've got it 115, 113. How did you see it?
Yeah, I've got Witter winning.
114, 113 to you. By a single point. I've got it by 2. Well, for certain on this Hennessy Sports promotion, this was not the kind of performance that Junior Witter was looking for. That, I think, is pretty clear to say. Andriy Kotelnik, you know, he fought well, he boxed well, he picked up points, but, you know, we still think that Witter has retained.
Yeah.
Of course, waiting now for the official scorecards of the 3 judges to be collected by our referee, and they will go to a supervisor who will then tally them up. And, you know, there's no saying, you know, just because Duke and I say that we think Witter's won it by a point and 2, there's no saying whatsoever, you know, in a fight as close as that, that the judges may well have gone the other way.
They may well have done. They seem very confident in the other corner.
They do indeed feel very confident in that Kotelnik corner, and there may be a shock in store here, Duke. Are we looking at a shock here with the home fighter losing his European Championship to the challenger from Germany? Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, where we have a unanimous decision. Judge S.L. Azatazari scores the contest 115 to 114. Judge Sergio Silvi scores the contest 115 to 114. And Judge Nikolai Sigor scores the contest 117 to 111. All 3 in favour of the winner, and still the light welterweight champion of Europe, Junior Witter.
It was a mile out there, Duke. 2 had it the same as you. 115, 114. One judge had it 117, 111.
And ladies and
9
gentlemen,
rounds to
your
3.
I might suggest that judge needs my glasses. It was nowhere near like that.
So there you are then, Junior Witter has retained his European light welterweight title for the 2nd time